Hi everyone, welcome to Wealthy Mindset. My name is Oliver. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Hope you're having a great day like always. And in today's video, it's just going to be a really quick update in terms of BlackBerry stock for March 31st trading day, Q4 earnings. I'm going to be releasing a way more in-depth dive in terms of Q4 earnings recap overall. Yes, they missed, but there is some positives. I'm going to be talking about the negatives and the positives in that video. Just doing a little bit more research before I release that video. Should be out today or tomorrow morning, worst case scenario. In terms of short term, you guys might get burned quite a bit. In terms of long term, still good. The only thing is though, it'll be a little bit more delayed overall, but I'll be explaining more in that video. Now, quick disclaimer before I begin, I'm not a financial advisor, I'm not a professional, and everything I do share with you guys is just my opinion. It is not advice, so please do not buy or sell based off the information I give you or the opinions I do form. I've been owning shares. I do own shares in BlackBerry. Been holding for 6 years. So long-term investor overall. And in terms of what is going to say though, in terms of overall what I'm going to show in the video is essentially I'm going to talk about a little bit of the Q4, but then talk about the graph in terms of the downside. Just because for the upsides, you could watch the previous videos. I can mention a little bit of the upside, but I think today is more of a stabilizing to try to find a foundation to the bounce to the upside kind of thing. So essentially we do have support at actually I'll talk about the Q4 first and then I'll talk about the support levels. So in terms of the Q4, the one thing is though, yes, they missed earnings, but I'm going to mention way more in the next video. I'm not going to mention too much here, but quick thing is the patent licensing revenue and the deal, it's a big mix up for this quarter. And essentially this quarter. Essentially what happens was they paused their licensing revenue agreements in terms of revenue generating kind of stuff, and that's a big deal. And also like the Facebook and the Huawei and all that stuff, that was pretty much held, so that impacted this quarter a lot. And if you put that back in play, it actually would have been a positive, and this stock would have most likely, probably for today, I'm pretty sure what would have happened today is they would have basically beat street expectations for revenue, but then would have had a decline of year-over-year revenue, and I would have expected 270 million as GAAP revenue, and I'll explain more in the next video. But they would have hit 270 million in terms of GAAP revenue in terms of the quarter, which would have been beating street expectations, but then would have been a decline year-over-year. But it would have been only decline year-over-year because that those numbers of year-over-year were pre-pandemic, and this one's during the pandemic kind of thing. So what would have happened was, because it was still a decline year over year, regardless if it was pandemic or not pandemic, it would have bounced to $9, would have went down to $9 because it would have been overcritical and all that stuff, and then bounced back up. Now, because the whole entire licensing deal and all that stuff, the whole mix up, we're pretty much getting destroyed right now. And we're pretty much probably gonna try to find a stabilizing point at one point. So now, if you saw my video yesterday in terms of the Q4 earnings and all that stuff, I showed I still haven't fixed it, I apologize, but this is the algorithmic view, downward trend resistance line, second downward trend resistance line, and pretty much still kept up underneath both of them. We have not broken through the downward trend resistance lines, even though these are just amateur lines. And what's happening right now is we're trying to find a place to stabilize, but hopefully we stabilize, and these are the levels that I'm hoping we stabilize at. So we have support at the 880, 871, but it looks like pre-market we might just be destroying them. The major amount of support we have is at 850 range, more specifically 851 to 856. Hopefully we hold. The only problem is the way earnings works out, the momentum builds up and all that stuff, we might start going down lower. So we have support at 841, 840. I honestly hope we bounce at the 850 range because we do have quite a bit of support. So there is a good chance. I'm banking on we bounce off on this on the 850 range. The only problem is because of the earnings and momentum and all stuff, I wouldn't be shocked if we break the 850 range. So hopefully we don't. Hopefully if we do, it's just a quick false breakout and bounce up, back up on the upside. But if we do go lower, we're looking at 841, 840 as support. Then there's quite a bit of support at 820 to 830. Then there's support at 816, then 810. And I'm going to explain why I'm looking at these levels. So 816, then $8.10, and then 804. Yes, there's support $8, but the $8 is tricky because if we hit $8, I'm worried that we might hit the 798 support and 797 support. We have quite a bit of support at 798, 797. The only problem is, even if we hit that level and bounce up to the upside, I'm afraid that since we broke the $8 price point, we might start trickling down, like spike back up and then start trickling back down into breaking the $8 price point again and then trickling down to $7. That's what I'm afraid of. If we bounce off $8 clean, that's perfect, that's fine, but hitting that 797, 798 support level is a big deal. That's the only problem. Now, to get majority of the price points that I'm looking at is right back here in December. We had a major consolidation period. There is more touch points on the left side or right side from this graph, which you're looking at, but mainly I'm trying to go to the most recent. So if you look at December price point, it was a major consolidation price point right about here between like the from what I measured and all that stuff, is mainly $8.40 to $8 price point. Yes, there's $8.73 right here, you can see, but this is resistance. This is not support. But from what I checked, all December price point consolidated quite a bit between $8.40 to $8 price point. So hopefully that holds through. Hopefully we just bounce off this line. In terms of the logarithmic view, it had more of a significance, but when I went to algorithmic view, it showed a bounce up, which is weird. This is not, disregard this, but somehow it looks like a clean bounce off it. In case if you were looking at this upward trend support line, this was not the intent for it, but it looks like a clean bounce off it, but it's, again, disregard that. Also, one more thing, the stock actually got an upgrade today. So it got an upgrade from sell to hold, and it got bumped up from $9 a share to $10 a share. So it technically, I guess they're saying the same thing I'm seeing for in terms of Q4 earnings, in terms of the positives. So definitely be on the lookout for that video. It's going to be jam-packed with a lot of information, but it's not all bad. Hopefully it does stay. I'm expecting a stabilizing point at the $8 price point. Hopefully it does hold true, and we'll see overall. That's pretty much it for the video though. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Hope you guys liked it. If you guys did like it, consider dropping a like. It helps out the channel a lot. Thank you so much for that. If you do like videos like these in terms of stocks, passive income, mortgages, credit scores, financial freedom, consider subscribing. It does help out the channel. Thank you so much. And if you have any questions, do not hesitate to ask. I'll try to answer them as soon as possible. Thanks again, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.